Greetings, Andy here, and welcome to my next Advent Calendar countdown video. So this is day 2, 2nd of December, and we're looking at number 23. Now, before I start, at the risk of pointing out something which you might or might not see, but I suspect you will, I've got a big wad of packing up one nostril, and I'm sorry about this. I've had a massive nosebleed, had to go to hospital with it, A&E. Nearly didn't actually be back in time to make this, so I've got a whole load of packing up there. It's probably going to be up there a few days, so I can't do anything about it, so apologies. But I wanted to carry on anyway, and I know lots of you, all those I know aren't going to be too bothered about this, so please put up with it. Thank you. So number 23, what is it? So this one came out in September, and the album is, there's no writing on it. The band is Bright Eyes, and the album title is Five Dice, All Threes. 5 dice, and they're all threes. Great album. The Bright Eyes is a trio from Nebraska, Omaha, Nebraska, and I've known them a long time. And this is what I said about the album when it was released in September. Bright Eyes, and a new album called Five Dice, All Threes. So Bright Eyes is, I've been listening to their stuff for, as I say, 20 plus years. Is essentially a trio of Conor Oberst, Mike Mogis, and Nate Walcott. And they hail from Omaha, Nebraska. If you're watching that, Steve Carlson, that's your territory, isn't it? This is like all the previous ones. This is their umpteenth album. I've not bothered checking what number it is because it's umpteenth. It's lots, and they're an indie. Well, they're usually described genre-wise as indie rock, but it's quite folky, so sometimes described as alt folk. There's a bit of Americana to it as well, but I think that's more than anything because of Conor Oberst has a very distinctive voice and vocal style, and also they quite like some steel guitar in there, which sort of gives it a slight Americana feel. But it's not what I would call Americana. And there's even a little bit of now and then on here, a sort of jazz feel, particularly from some of the piano work. Feels a little bit jazzy. On here they're sort of reflecting on getting older or into middle age, and warn about getting taken in by shaman and charlatans. And they mention a few. Elon Musk gets mentioned as one of them. They're basically encouraging, this is what the song themes are, encouraging people to make their own luck, basically. And just get on with things. Life's too short. Do it while you can. And I guess the luck element is the the theme of the dice and sort of luck and chance, which sort of flows through the album. It's a sort of repeated theme. Another repeated theme in it, which is quite interesting, is and it actually the first track opens up with this, are sort of old radio vocal samples recordings about things like that. It's not exactly public sector broadcasting, but it's a sort of similar idea, but in the sense that they are using samples from spoken radio programs to augment the songs, and again it works very well. They've got some guests on here. So the Nationals, Matt Berninger plays on, sings with Oberst on, which one is it? The Time I Have Left, the penultimate track, which is a sort of mournful piano ballad. And earlier, sort of roughly halfway through, is a track called All Three. So it opens with Five Dice, and then in the middle is a separate track called All Threes in there. And there he duets with Cat Power, and it's really quite interesting because it's what I would call almost an offset duet. So they sound as though they're doing their own thing, but somehow are sort of still linked together as a duet. Bit weird. I'll put that in the sample, but I really like it, and it's just I love Conor Oberst's voice. It's just it just love the way he sings. I think this album was conceived. It's a double, and it's in gatefold, but I think it was conceived as a CD rather than as a vinyl record, because it's about an hour long basically, and it's a typical converted CD. It's done on three sides, and the fourth side has got the dreaded etching in it, and also they haven't sort of renumbered the tracks by side. It's track 1 to 13 sequentially, regardless of what side they appear on. But it is very resplendent in orange and black splatter. This is my only splatter of the month. I think I've got another splatter which I'll do in the second part. So
you were beautiful before. God, you were beautiful before. You were beautiful before, until you weren't. Until you weren't. All right.
So, thank you for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it, and apologies again for the wad up my nose. I suspect, well, I hope it'll be there tomorrow because it's supposed to stay there for 72 hours. So I'm doing these one at a time. Usually I do a bit of a batch, but with that going on, I can't really. So thanks for watching. Hopefully see you again tomorrow. Cheers.